How you doing, folks? This is Louis LeBoy. This is Kicking It Live with BCW, and your host, Louis LeBoy. It's another day, another time, another interview with a great talent, with a great person that we have here. It's in the lobby waiting for us, but none other than Dan the Man, and we have him here live through BCW, through Kicking It Live. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and let's have this great conversation. So he's waiting for me right now. So let's bring him in. Once again, let's bring in Dan the Man. How you doing? How you doing? Let's welcome him. Let's welcome
Good
Dan the
evening.
Man.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
You're doing great. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Like I said, welcome to Kicking It Live with BCW. I'm your host, Louis LeBoy, and it's a pleasure and it's an honor to have you here with us today, talking it out, having this great conversation with us. But a little bit about you and how we've met and how I got to know you. It was all about I got to see you at Dawn of a New Era. That was the first time that we kind of interacted in a sense, not really here and there because I was always in the back or dealing with something else. But it was great having you there, and it was great having you and you there and having all the pops that you had, especially at the battle royale. And it was great having you there, and it was a pleasure having you there. And let's see what
I
was
got
going on from
robbed.
there.
I got
But
robbed that. I got robbed that one. That event. I got robbed. You know that.
you got robbed.
I got robbed. I should have won. I got robbed.
How does that happen? How do you think you got robbed?
I cheated. You gonna believe me? You gotta believe me. I'm telling the truth. I got cheated. But
That's how
besides
you
that,
feel. Like,
that's okay. Let's continue.
yeah, no, the great pop that you had once you went through that curtain that nobody knew you were there. I was like, how did it feel when you heard that pop, and especially within your character, with your gimmick? How did it feel?
Just like every other time. Like I know. I know how great I am. So of course they're gonna react. And whether they love me or hate me, people are always going to stand up and react because it's who I am.
Yeah, and I remember the standoff that you had with Nakoma after you cut it when you cut it almost everybody in the ring when you got in the ring with the Royal. It was like one cut after the other. That was like what 4 or 5 cutters that you did on everybody there.
Maybe 10. I don't know. I don't know. I just if you're in my way, you're getting hit. That was basically the story in that. You're in my way, you're getting hit. In the
Because
story.
you gave some nasty cutters out there, and everybody was popping for those cutters, and I was like, damn, this kid over there, and didn't waste no time just cutting everybody up in there and just giving those cutters. And
Hey, listen, it's a rumble, it's a battle royal. If you're in my way, you're getting hit. All those guys, they were all weak anyway. So I'm the strongest guy in there, or the strongest guy, whether I'll be the number one or number 10 or number 20. I was still the strongest guy, so they're all gonna feel it. So
especially that face off with Nakoma, that was a great moment for us. But I didn't know how you feel having that moment with Nakoma.
uh, let's put it to you this way. I'm not a big fan of intergender wrestling. Not a fan of it. Not whatsoever. Not saying that women don't belong in wrestling. They do, but they need to deal with women. Uh, you BCW management put Nicole in there with the likes of me of all people, and doesn't really. It's not my cup of tea. But I understand that management decided to book a match, number one contender, December 10th, between Nicole and uh, I understand she has all the beta males and the simps that all love her, but this is not the match for her. And you know, I have to. I'm, I hate to use the word put her in a place. It's more like now there's a new Dan the Man, aka Dano. It's just basically I have to teach a lesson, not to just Nakoma, but to all the simps that go crazy for her. and all the beta males that go crazy for her. So it's a punishment to them because they need to man up.
How do you say how is a punishment to them? How do you want to show them?
It's just a simple fact. You've seen it. I've seen it. Guys get on there. A chick can show a picture of her foot. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Ooh, 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 kissy, kissy, kissy. Like, just stop. It's there's too many panda bears and grass eating lions nowadays, and it's just I have to put an end to it. That's why the Book of Daniels is here to help these men become men.
So
Men
tell me,
don't.
talk to me about that book.
The Book of Daniels. The Book of
Yes,
Daniels is to help. The Book of Daniels is to help everyone. The Book of Daniels is to help you. The Book of Daniels is to help the BCW roster to make them be greater than they was yesterday. I can help everybody with that. That's why I told you. The first thing is stop being a simp in life today. Stop being a panda bear. Stop being a grass eating lion. Man up. There's no such thing as this toxic masculinity or anything like that. Women belong to wrestle with women. Men wrestle with men. I'm not a fan of intergender wrestling. It's just I don't care for it. If you put me in there with a woman, I'm not responsible for whatever happens to her. So
you've had a couple of those intergenders, haven't you?
yes, I have. Some were good, some were bad. But every one of them, somewhere down the line, someone had to cheat because they know they couldn't beat me one on one.
And that's what you think that Nakoma did.
Nakoma had. We all seen the videos. Nakoma cheated. She had help. I understand it's a battle royal, but she wanted to be tough woman. I can do this on my own. But we all know that she had help from other people to eliminate me from the battle royal. So I call her a cheater. But we'll worry about that on December 10th. Let's not focus on all that right now. This is not about Nakoma. It's an interview. You interviewing Dan the Man, aka Danos, about you want to talk about the book of Danos. That's great. You want to talk about my great wrestling career. That's great. Upcoming shows. That's great. We can do that. But let's not talk about Nakoma right now. It's not about her. It's about Dan the Man right now.
So every post I've seen, every time I hear your name, even on social media, that have this word in front of you, the mission. Talk to us about that mission. What is that mission? What is it? What's the focus of that mission itself?
The mission you just have to find out. I have
Okay.
people, I have great wrestlers by the name of Patrick Saint, Evie Della Rosa, which proves that I don't hate women. In fact, Evie Della Rosa and I did have a match, and Evie Della Rosa tried to destroy me. And you know what I said to her? I respect you. And now we're teammates. And of course, I also have Brother Greatness. Now, Brother Greatness he's a man of God, a man of God. And he has sided with me, who they call me evil, which I'm not, and under my guidance in the book of Danos, I'm helping all these individuals to become great performers in that ring.
I know Brother Greatness. I've seen him in another promotion when my son actually started wrestling and going to school. They were participating out of that promotion in Springfield, and I met Brother Greatness. So if we're talking about the same greatness, then I see where that mission is coming from.
Hmm. Indeed.
So so he's a good man too. Definitely, he's a good man. So that's what the mission is all about, right?
The mission, like I said, you just have to be a part of the mission to understand the mission. I know that doesn't make any sense, but just follow my lead.
I'm trying to follow your lead. So let's see. Let me if I get the understanding. So are you going to be teaching that mission of yours to the BCW roster, because we have a kind of a stacked roster? Have you seen our show?
No, I've paid attention to the entire roster. I know pretty much I'm getting my info on all of them, and they need guidance. They definitely need guidance. They may fight it, but they definitely need guidance.
Because we have a new up and comers as well that you might it might work with them.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens December 10th at Crowning Glory. I mean, so what's up with you? Like, what's you have anything going on before December 10th? What's going on? Talk to the people.
Pretty much. Let's see. Tattoo Pro Wrestling in Bristol, Connecticut. For some reason, I have some individuals sending me packages and subliminal messages talking about November 5th. Someone has it out for myself in the mission. So on that day, we'll take care of that. So, and then after that, I will defend my NWWE championship when we head down to Massachusetts, Bridgewater. Also, on the 18th, I will be at Blood, Sweat, and Tears Wrestling doing commentary because I also do commentary. I am the best damn commentary guy in Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I'm a jack of all trades.
I could see that. I could see that. I have to hear you commentate. Let me hear you one of these days commentate.
Oh, you just got to come on down. Blood, Sweat, and Tears in Bridgeport, Connecticut, November 18th.
So talk to me. How long you been in this industry? How long have you been
Oh,
wrestling?
ooh.
How did Dan the man start?
I started back in, wow, like 99.
So it's been a
And I
while.
like to thank my grandmother, may she rest in peace, because as a small child, I was watching wrestling with her, and we will watch the NWA, with Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Harley Race, all that, and she would basically boo all the bad guys. And once I saw Ric Flair on the screen, it caught my attention. And Ric Flair never wrestled. All he did was talk, wear suits, wear fancy watches and fancy shoes. And I was like, boom, this is what I want to do. And, the rest was history. I mean, before I got into that, high school wrestling, junior high wrestling, high school wrestling, college wrestling, you know. So having an athletic background helped me once I started training in professional wrestling.
So yeah, I love the fact that we almost all of us that are in this industry grew up with that. I grew up with my dad having that same passion, watching Andres, watching the Hogans, watching like you said, Dustin and races and all that. And I grew up with that too. But my side, we were more in the Hispanic side of everything else. So I was watching more the lucha libre, the Hispanic side of everything from the Carlito Colons and all that. But
That's
it's
what I was
great to
going to
know.
say. So using the Carlos Colognes, that's what you was at. See, I watched some of that because I'm a big fan of Terry Funk. So Terry Funk and Carlos Colon were big out there, along with Abdul the Butcher, who was also big out there, also along with Bruiser Brody. Like I said, I'm an old school guy. I like the old school wrestling, which I'm nothing against the modern wrestling now, but that's the stuff I grew up on.
Trust me, I did too. I remember seeing how the storylines back in the day had you like on the corner of your seat. As you didn't know none of these dirt sheets and none of this internet stuff was around, so you didn't really know what was coming. And if you went to a live show, even on the TV, they'll have you like in the corner of your seat, like asking for more what's going on and what's next. And I remember watching the snake and his snake biting Macho Man and all that. So I love those storylines. And so you're in for storylines as well, aren't you?
Oh, I'm big in storylines. I'm not a fan of the let's handshake and you're goody and I'm a goody and let's just do moves. No, I want to see good versus bad. I want to see something, a build up, just something like animosity. Even if you are good, like somebody have some beef with somebody. I don't want to sit there and you guys wrestle each other. The next thing you know, you're taking pictures together on social media, saying, or oh, I had a great match with this guy. Book him. That's I don't want to. No, no. And I don't like dirt sheets. I don't want to find out like, oh, well, this guy's going to win tomorrow. I don't. That's people like that. Just I don't like them. Just don't. let's just go back to where, like I said, when my grandmother would watch wrestling, you watch it and you didn't know what was going to go on, and then you was at the edge of your seat when you're watching it, and even though it's on for 2 hours, there's a brawl going on at the end of the show, and you hear either Gordon Soley or Jim Ross, and like, "We'll see you next week," and now it goes off the air, and now you got to wait a whole week to watch it again.
You
You know,
definitely did. I remember those days, man. And so that's what brought you in. But what was that event? What was that match? Or what? I know you mentioned Ric Flair, but what had you actually start in the industry? Like, what got you through that door?
what got me through the door was just I went to an independent show. I never knew anything about independent wrestling, and then a friend of a friend of a friend was like, "Hey, there's a show in your town." So I went, watched the show, saw the guys, all different sizes and everything. I said, "You know what? I think I can do this. In fact, I know I can do this." So saw the flyer, made the phone call, went to ECPW located in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey, and the rest was history. I went in there, took your bumps and your bruises and all that stuff. But the one thing I had compared to everybody else in my wrestling class is that I can talk. I had an athletic background. So I advanced faster than everybody else. And I was disciplined. While they just trained on a Monday and on Thursday, I was training on Mondays, I was training on Saturday, I was training on Sunday for hours on end, just getting beat down with the guys who knew better. And I wasn't getting trained by like young boys. I was getting trained by grown men, guys who've been doing this, guys who worked for the WWF at the time. You know what I mean? Guys that worked at ECW back then. So
So that was your training experience where you
yeah,
were trained by these great men in wrestling industry with many years of the history, and so they knew what they were talking about
you're
in
right.
a sense, and that's appreciative, and that's awesome to know that is you feel fond to that, and there's great men out there that still teaching this industry, and it's great to hear that. And but when you found yourself, like, I know through all this trainings and your training matches and whatnot, but when it's finally time, like, to go out behind that curtain and a live show for your first show, like your first event, how was that for you?
First event, went out, talked a lot of smack. I was in a battle royal, but they let me go out there, talk a lot of smack, and a lot of the veteran guys didn't like it. So back then they try to like break you to see if you can really do it because they thought I was a flashy guy, just all talk, no nothing else. Um, I came into wrestling dressing like a professional wrestler. I didn't come in wearing a sweat hood. I didn't come in there wearing a t-shirt. As you can see right now, I'm wearing a $60 ascot and a nice sports coat. That's why you look as a professional wrestler. I see a lot of guys looking like punk rock bands or, you know, broken rap artists. That's not the way. If that's their thing, that's their thing. I myself, the way I dress, the way I look, the way I talk, everything screams professional wrestler. But back then, a lot of guys didn't like that. You know, a guy that can talk. You know, was I the best wrestler back then? No, I was green as anything. But because I can talk, I still got a reaction. So, you know, and then right after that, battle royal, easy, talk my smack. Did I win? No, but I left a mark. And that's the one thing that a lot of people can't do. I have people talking about me when they leave the building. Not about a fancy move, it's the character.
Yeah, it's that character. I noticed it in the back when you were at Dawn of a New Era. Uh, I noticed a lot, different situations, and I'm just trying to keep it kayfabe. I don't want nothing going on in the back in a sense, but I saw the camaraderie. I saw a lot in how how people tend to look up to you and your character, in a sense. Beyond that, who do you look up to? Like, who influenced your character? Who influenced you as Dan the Man, other than the suit, other than Ric Flair?
It was a couple. It was Ric Flair. Like for I watched on television, so it was like first Ric Flair, of course, right? Then it was Harley Race, Nick Bockwinkel, Gary Hart, guys. You know, like I said, I wasn't too crazy about the moves. It was more of the characters because the characters catch my attention. Like I said, Flair, Harley Race, uh, Dusty Rhodes, uh, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, J.J. Dillon, like all the Four Horsemen, you know. And as the years go on, uh, once I saw one of the guys that trained me, Nunzio, he was on ECW.
Yeah.
I saw Rey Mysterio Jr. And I was like, oh my goodness, and Psychosis and who to like smaller guys. And I'm like, if those guys can do it, I definitely know I can rock this, you know. And then you saw D Maleko, and he wasn't a high flyer, he was a technical wrestler, you know. And it just all these guys inspire me. And then of course when it comes to more promos, again, like The Rock, Austin, watching this stuff, it's so many names. There's so many guys. Like each person, you take a bit of each character and you just mold it into becoming your own type of person.
So you've mentioned a lot of characters, a lot of personalities and whatnot. But one thing I've always asked, it's what is your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers? Like, who you consider your Mount Rushmore?
Oh boy, we're gonna make a mountain with more heads up there. Well,
Yeah,
I'll
the
put out
top
there
five. The top five.
top five: Flair, Dusty, Ballwinkle. Uh, let's see, Ballwinkle, Superstar Billy Graham.
Mhm.
Uh, let me see. I got one more. I got one more. Let me see who else I could put up there. With I would say, you know what? No one ever brings this up. Hot stuff Eddie Gilbert. Hot stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Let's
More
go.
might pop up later, but for right now, we'll make it that five.
You take of those five. I like the fact that you talk about Dean Malenko, the man of 1,000 holds. It was a funny thing that you mentioned Dean Malenko because I remember Jericho mentioned he was a man of 1,001 holds. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so that's great to know that you look at that like the smaller guys, Dean Malenko, the even Owen Hart's. I mean the Heart Foundations. Sorry, my kid. Dame, stay over there. Sorry, close the door. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta put gotta tell that kid we're live. Tell him we're live, pal.
Yeah, she loves watching the wrestlers, and if I speak to a wrestler, she's always around me and talking to wrestlers, even though she thinks she's 5, but she thinks she's grown. So I'm sorry.
I know, I get it. I get it.
She was actually at the show, and she was a little girl bouncing around all over the place, trying to like imitate everybody. So she loves it too. I mean, it's what I mean. Like prior to that, having that person that kind of influenced you into the industry, like your grandmother. I guess I'm the person with this little one, along with all of my kids, because one of my kids, he's with us. He wasn't able to wrestle at Dawn of a New Era, but he's an up and comer. He's training now too. He was there, but he was one of my security teams. He was part of my security team.
Oh, okay.
Uh, the security team is called Team Jose because they're all Jose's. All my securities are Jose's, so they're known as Team Jose's.
So they just went on the
But
job application and said, Jose, I'm hiring you. Hey, your name is Jose, I'm gonna hire you too. Your name is
it,
Jose Jr., I'm gonna hire you also. That's what you did?
That's what I did. You know,
Okay.
that was the part of the qualifications. Team Jose. It was just easier for me in all these names, but he's an upcoming too, and he's one of the people that he spoke about a lot after the shows. Actually, was you and how it was the
Oh,
cutters and how you entered and how you took care. I guess you made it known that you were there in a sense, and you popped up and you took your spot in a sense, and that's what he wants to. How do you say? He wants to do the same thing with his character with his gimmick. So he actually liked you a lot, and he spoke about you a lot afterwards. And he
that's
was
good.
actually happy that you were coming on to this broadcast onto this podcast because he wanted to talk to you himself, but he wasn't able to come on. But I mean, he looks up to you, and it's great to know that that we have these type of influences. Talking about influences, how do you feel like? How does it make you feel that people look up to you and they use you or they have you as an influence, even though that you don't know?
Well, like I said, a lot of people see me as an evil person, cold-hearted person, but like I told you before, I'm here to help people. You know, like I told you earlier, I'm trying to help men or young men to become great men. In fact, I even try to help young ladies to become more than what they were before, better women. You know what I mean? And this is not me just talking just to talk. I really mean this. I really do. You know. So, oh, hello there, Josh. Um, someone just Josh just says hello.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Um,
gonna show it now. Josh,
yeah,
what's up? How you doing, Josh? He says hi, Dan.
yes. He also Josh also reads from the book of Danos, so he's a good kid. But like I was saying, I don't consider myself. I take that back. No, I do consider myself a role model. I do consider myself a mentor, a teacher. You know, because in this era we have a lot of blind leaders, and they're afraid to speak. So if a young man wants to come up to me and he wants to talk about, if he wants to talk about wrestling or relationships or life in general, they can come talk to me. If a woman wants to talk to me about the same exact things, my arms are open for everyone to talk to.
So you like that type of mentoring type of thing because of your
Yes,
mission, huh? Because it's all about your mission.
it's all about the mission, but at the same time, I'm not an evil man. So I'm here to help everyone.
So do you consider people consider you as a heel, but you consider yourself like not a heel?
I don't like to use those type of heel, villain, hero, baby face. I'm here. That's it. I'm here. You know, people say people that say, "Oh, well, Dan is a million years old." I'm forever. I'm always going to be here forever, and I will always help people. You know, but this is not. This is not a. I'm not. No, this is not a telethon where I'm like reaching my hand out like this and come. No, this is. You see me as a good role model, and I appreciate that. More A lot more people should be like that and see me as the person who can help them.
I'm gonna and at the show, let me. I'm gonna introduce you to Team Jose and my son and see if we could teach him one or two things.
It's fine.
He'll be there. I mean, so yeah, December 10th. I know you said that you mentioned you have other things going on. But in the future, what are you looking to do in the future? We're talking about 2 or 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road. What do you see yourself doing in this industry?
2, 3, or 5 years. I can't predict that far. Can't can't predict that far ahead right now. Let's go day by day. That's the best way to go. Go day by day. You know.
Josh is not.
That's how I'm gonna do it. That's how I'm gonna do it because you know yesterday was history. Tomorrow is always a mystery, but today is a gift. That's how I see it.
Josh stated, "I do like missions because I love Dan t-shirts is what I love. So
He's
that
a good
merch
man.
is doing good.
Yeah. The
So
Book
it's
of
not
Daniels
just
T-shirts, the Book of Daniels mugs, coffee cups, the Book of Daniels book, everything. The Book of Daniels. But you know, cheap plug there. Not a cheap plug. It's a plug itself. You know, the Book of Daniels is always available. You know,
so where can you find all that merch other than the Book of Daniels, and where can you find all that merch?
later on we'll do that. I off the top of my head, like I said, just we'll just put that on there. You follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. You'll get all that information. Or just come to the shows. How about that? Come to the shows. In
That'd be
fact, come December 10th. Come December 10th, Bay State Championship Wrestling. Just come down. How about we do that? Because I'm battling for the number one contender. And I don't know who the other guys are going for the championship, but they really need to pay attention to the fact that I'm here. You know, oh, Danos is in the building. Danos is in the building. Yeah, you should worry about that. My cardio is impeccable. So if those are the two guys, they're going for the championship. I'm gonna win the number one contender, and whoever becomes champion, just remember that I'm in the building now. I'm here.
So it
So
could be BD Cruz or it could be Sean Amori. So you don't care who it
doesn't
is.
really doesn't really matter. The championship will be mine either way. So it didn't matter.
Josh really loves you, man. Josh,
I
what's up?
see.
Thank you, Josh. Small toy named Dan on him. I have. He loves. But I mean, that's great, and yeah. So you don't care who it is,
Nah, I
BD
really
or
don't.
Sean Amari. You just that you're going after one of them.
Yeah. They have to worry
So
about me. I don't have to worry about them. They just need to worry about me. Because by the time that show comes around, I already have them scouted.
okay, how is that?
For everybody on the roster, there's a contingency plan and a weakness of every member on the roster. So I'll have it already figured out by that time.
So I see that's part of your plan, trying to find out these weak parts of every single one of the BCW roster.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
That's I have to see that, man. I have to see that because we do have a cards we have a good roster. We have the Sunset Steve. We have Fly Night. We have a couple cats that are pretty good too. So I
Oh
want to
no,
see I
no.
want to
I'm
see
not
that.
saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're bad. All I'm saying is I have a contingency plan for everyone on the roster. So I'll know everything, what makes them strong, what makes them scared, what their weaknesses, everything.
Does have anybody in the roster have you haven't had a match with before? Anybody on our roster like the like Bull Dread, like Fly Night, like Sunset, Stevie?
Bull Dread and I go years and years and years. Uh, Sunset, I've seen him work. I've seen what he can do. Fly Knife, we've crossed paths. That's a good kid right there, by the way. He's a good kid. Um, drop me some other names. I pretty much, you know, some of the guys I'm
Other,
not familiar with, but I'll definitely be scouting them.
yeah, we have a cat named Nightmare. He's a good guy too. Uh, there's a few of them. There's a few of them out there that we have. We have a good roster for that day. So I'm excited. I can't wait. And not only that, one of our missions is a charity mission as well. So we have we're sponsoring a host that we're hosting a Toy for Tots as well for that day. So we're gonna have Marines up in there as well, I believe. So it's gonna be a great day for all of us in a
That's
sense,
good.
and because that's part of our mission, BCW mission, is do the charity work and to give back to our community, and that's one of my passions, is one of my fondness, and giving back to our community in a sense.
You know what? I like that. BCW is all about the kids. I think I'll change it up a little bit too. I think on December 10th, I'll probably It won't be Dan the Man, won't be Danos. December 10th is a holiday. So let's bring in Dante Claus on that day.
Okay,
So Dante
okay.
Claus, so Dante Claus will be about the children too. I know you're probably not familiar with Dante Claus. Don't worry about it because Dante Claus will be coming to BCW December 10th because he's also about the children.
Hold on. But so I have to see this cat now, Danny Claus. So we'll all be seeing him, right?
You'll be definitely seeing Dante Claus, and Dante Claus always bring gifts to the children and the men and the women as well. So you'll have to see. You'll be definitely entertained with Dante Claus.
one of the rosters that we have in our roster is Jiggy. Have you had experience with? Have you had matches with
See,
Jiggy? And have you?
This interview was going really, really good until you mentioned. Now I'm scratching. You bring up Jiggy Sosa. That's what you mentioned in Jiggy Sosa.
Jiggy Sosa.
We don't.
I saw what happened. I saw what happened.
Jiggy and I are not. We're not brothers. We're not partners. We're not friends. We don't get along. He represents things that I don't like. He's he's Four Loco drinks. I'm champagne. He's he's Nike sneakers. I'm Louis Vuitton shoes. It's he's the city. I love the suburbs. He's Section 8 housing. I love my beautiful home. It's I know he's for the people, but just uh, uh, sorry. Just
So let's
ugh.
go back to Dante Claus. Let's go back to
Yeah,
Danny
let's go back to
Claus.
Danny Claus. Let's go back to that.
But I
Danny
mean,
Claus will
Jiggy
be
though, he's an
entertaining.
awesome guy. Don't get me. He's an awesome guy. But okay, let's go back to Danny Claus.
Right. Like I said, Danny
Something.
Claus.
Josh mentioned something, but
Uh, yeah, we're not gonna worry about that. We're not gonna worry about that at all. No. Like I said, Dante Claus will be entertaining. You will be entertained. Everyone in BCW will be entertained with Dante Claus. That's all I'm gonna say. He comes once a year around this time in December. So, like the Great Pumpkin in October, Dante Claus comes in December.
so we'll see him before your match, during the match, after the
He'll
show. We're
probably
going to see him.
Dante Claus will appear before during the match. He'll come out. Dante Claus. He'll probably give Nakoma a gift also.
Okay, I wonder what that be. Only Dante Claus would know.
That's right.
But now, man, I mean, it's gonna be a great show. It's definitely gonna be a great show, which I can't wait. And especially where it's gonna be at. It's gonna be at the city stage. I don't know if you've been there before. It's a great place. Hopefully we'll be able to
The
sell it
city
out.
stage. The city stage where I'm not familiar with
It's in
the city.
Springfield. It's in Springfield, city stage.
Okay.
We're looking. Hopefully, if we sell out the crowd, we'll be looking to have over maybe like around 400 people in that place because that's how much it fits.
Only 400 people. Only
Minimum,
400.
minimum.
With Dante Claus in the building, you should have. You gotta get more chairs. You gotta get more chairs. You gotta do something. What do you gotta do? Who do you have to bribe? Who do you have to bribe for the fire department? Like you have connections like that. You know.
Yeah, yeah, we have connections like that. We have connections like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Let's. I got money. You got money. Let's put envelopes in the pockets of certain people. Let's get more people. Danny Claus is coming. We can
Danny
help
Claus
out.
is coming. He's be coming with a sled.
I don't know about a sled. Maybe limo. Limo's good.
Maybe a limo or the
Limo's good.
jet.
A limo's good. A limo's good. You know, I don't like to drive, so I'd rather just be driven. So but we'll just see. I mean, December 10th is going to be a great show. It's going to be a great show. You guys are going to sit there. You're going to donate for the kids. I'm going to bring joy and wonder and everything. I'm going to have, it's going to be great. Now I'm excited that Dante Claus will be there.
We're
You gotta spread
BCW
the
is
word.
excited. We're gonna be
You gotta spread the
excited.
word. Dante Claus is coming to
Now,
BCW.
now I know. We're gonna put out one of the graphics say "Welcome to BCW, Danny Claus."
I'll send you a picture of Dante Claus. They'll be
Send me
excited.
send me a picture. We'll work something out. We'll have our graphic designer do that for you,
All right.
and bring joy to the community. Bring joy to the kids.
The kids will love it. The kids are gonna love Dante Claus. Nakoma will probably love Dante Claus. I mean, I know she's gonna lose December 10th because I gotta beat her, but
You, you have a
we'll
cutter
bring
waiting
joy.
for her too.
A cutter, stomp. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. It's nothing against her. It's a simple fact. It's a number one contendership, and I'm addicted to championships. I need them because you know why? I make championships popular. You know how a lot of guys need the title so they can become better. I make the championship better. I make the championship popular.
Okay,
You know,
so it's true.
Dan the man winning championships brings in more sponsors, brings in a whole lot of people, a whole lot of media. You don't get that. A lot of guys just want to go out there. I want to be the best wrestler in the world and shake hands and kiss. No, this is a business. The revenue for BCW, you would have to go on Weibo and put this on the stock market. It'll go right up with Dan the Man as champion. Just think about it. Just think about it. Dan the Man is champion. All of a sudden, sponsors for Pellegrino sparkling water. It'll be insane. You
Even the
know,
water be insane, huh?
sparkling water. Champions drink sparkling water, not tap. Sparkling water. So
Okay.
you gotta tell those guys when they're going for the championship, they're not drinking sparkling water. They're not a real man. That's all to it.
So, but what type of what's the brand?
No,
There's a lot of them out there.
no. We do Pellegrino. I'm not trying to put no advertisement on it, but I'm just saying. But you know, a lot of people don't want to drink sparkling water because they're afraid of bubbles. Like, come on, be a man. Drink sparkling water.
So now everybody will know if there's sparkling water at the BCW is because of you.
Exactly. If you come and you come to see Dante Claus might have a bottle of sparkling water for you, and with a straw because you gotta be classy. Gotta be classy.
You can't forget your pinky either, right? Pinky up all the time.
Nah, we don't need to do all that. We don't need to do all that. We don't need to do that at all. Just come to BCW December 10th and be entertained with the rest of the roster. And of course, Dante Claus is on the card. Now Dante Claus, not Dan the Man, not Danos, Dante Claus. Dante Claus versus Nakoma. That's a main event anywhere. Now I know the championship is on the line, but Dante Claus and Nakoma, that is the match that people, especially the women in the audience, they're going to be going crazy during this match. And
But just no simping though, right?
no simping, no simping, no beta males, no panda bears, no grass eating lions. That's a no no. That's not in the book of Danos. It's not.
So now we know. Now we know. Now we know. So that's why we're looking forward to December 10th. Danny Claus, Dan the Man, with the number one contendership. Uh, so let's see how it goes, and hopefully we'll blow the roof off that day. Well, not hopefully. I know we'll blow the roof off that day. You know, with Dante Claus. But I do have one question for you.
Yes.
Your finisher. How do you come up with it? What's the name of your finisher?
All my finishers have the same name. Shazam. That's it.
Shazam.
Shazam.
And how
If
you
I
come
hit the
up with that
move,
name?
I'm a big comic book fan.
I could
The
tell.
movie just, yeah, you know, I'm a big Captain Marvel, and now he's just Shazam along with Black Adam. I'm big into those two right there. I mean, I'm like into a lot of comic book stuff, and video games and all that. People don't know, but I'm really big into that stuff, anime, cosplay, all that stuff. So I brought all that to wrestling as well. So, but when
it's
I yell
not nothing.
Shazam, that means it's done. Once I hit Shazam, if you hear the word Shazam as a move's being done, that's it.
That's it. Hold on. Hold on for a second. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But Cerra la puerta. But no, I'm gonna we're any last words? Any last words for BCW? Any last words you have?
Ah, the people that are watching this, especially Josh and anyone else in the near future, December 10th, come down for BCW. Come see Dante Claus. See the rest of the roster. Bring toys because I'm about the children also. We have a number one contenders match. See Dante Claus in all his glory versus Nakoma. And remember, it is all about the mission.
All about the mission,
All about the
which
mission.
we'll see at BCW. We'll see at Crowning Glory, right?
That's correct. That is
Josh is
correct.
asking what you drink. What is your drinks tonight?
Tell them sparkling water. Sparkling water, Josh.
Sparkling water. Let's hopefully we'll have some sparkling water at our event. You know, and it was great having you. It's great having you here, and we'll meet on December 10th, and we'll meet Dante Claus on December 10th as well. And it's gonna be a banger of a match. It's gonna be a banger of a match, and I can't wait to see it.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you having you here with us, and have a great night.
You do the same.
Hold on. Thank you, folks, for being with us tonight. This is Kicking It Live with BCW. Until next week, have a good night.